Yeah, put the brand up this way. People maybe will recognize who we are. Right? It's been what 4 weeks. I gotta do something about the mess in here. Look, you can see this is like work. That's crafting. Back there is D&D stuff. It's just mess.
I dig it. Yeah, I've got workstations in here now too with the new desk layout.
Yeah, the new desk layout.
Yeah, I could just go like, bye. We'll move upwards. Oh no, where are we going?
You got a standing desk?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, you nerd! I love it. I have one at work, so it's the best.
Yeah. I figured I invested in the desk and got like the biggest L up standing desk I could get.
It's a L-shaped standing desk. That's
yeah. So this is the corner. So there's a station here and then over here.
That's a standing desk that's L-shaped. That's risky.
Yeah.
Hey, Rolls, thanks for jumping on. I know it's been a minute, so appreciate you sticking with us.
Yeah. I went with that, and basically it allows me to have the big monitor right here in the middle, and then I've got my second monitor right here. I got my Mac station over here, and then my workstation right here on this end. And so it's nice as in the morning I'll sit down with my coffee and like just kind of scoot over here, get some work done, and then like around 11-ish or so, my back is like time to get up, and so like I'll go to standing. I'll stand for a couple hours, and it's been nice to be able to just kind of like.
Yeah, no, standing desks are great. I do it. What? I mean, come on. Come on. I am the ghost of Christmas future.
Ghost of Christmas. That's you change it. Definitely not a Pinkerton agent,
no, bro. So I mean, like, we can talk about it later.
We're gonna talk about it on the show.
I did go to their website because they're right there. You can actually apply for jobs right off their website.
Like they take people off the street, don't they? Like ceremoniously like blood sacrifice people to be born.
I don't know, man. I'm desperate to find out. Thanks for jumping on. Copy Video Star. I think that's Tim, right? What's up?
Yeah. Oh man.
Yeah, it's been a minute. It's switching to Wednesdays has been tough. It's been a wild ride. So happy to be back.
Yeah, for sure. Where is this? Hold on. We're live here. So apparently, and this is just behind the scenes. YouTube changed up like their whole like dashboard thing for people that go live now. They're really.
What's up, Team Pandora? Thanks for jumping on.
What's going on, team? Yeah, they changed it up so like your dashboard and all that's supposed to be like more interactive and you can do more things while you're live. But I'm not seeing it. Maybe
the goggles do nothing.
Yeah, the goggles do nothing. I'm live, right? Does it show I'm live on?
It shows you live on Twitch. It shows you live here. I don't know.
Yeah. It shows I'm live on.
It says you're live on YouTube and Twitch.
Live doesn't really. So what's interesting is live in general doesn't bring in viewers on YouTube. It's just kind of the nature of YouTube. Like they're not a live service, but they provide it.
Yeah, sure.
And so our live views get very little on YouTube, but on Twitch they get pretty good. They're okay. They're not bad. But the point is like the videos once they're done, once we end the episode, they don't really get promoted or pushed or in the algorithm like But if I take a video and like film something and then throw it up there, it immediately it gets tons of views. Like the most mundane videos that I've made.
So you gotta clip these news shows.
So I can clip them to make clips, or I could not go live on YouTube and then take the recording out of StreamYard and then upload it as a separate video.
I see. But then we'd miss out on
We miss out on people that might use YouTube. So it's kind of this weird, it's just dumb. It's dumb. You know what? I don't play the game. I'm just here for the lulz.
Yeah, tags are everything.
Oh yeah, tags are everything. I get it. And I could go in and
Rose says I've given up trying to figure out YouTube algorithms a long time ago. As I understand it, it's a stupid face, a clickbait headline, and probably you're going to be talking about.
Hey, you gotta like hold a product up.
Yeah.
Right. You gotta hold the product up, and then like once you've got it up, you blur it out. And then you gotta go.
Yeah, slapping the face is what you
make the big stupid face. Put a big arrow pointing on it. And then you got to be like, you can't believe this. Got this for this much? Question mark.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Yeah, that's what gets you the views, and I don't do that. So
my videos usually get 20 30 reviews. I uploaded a complete movie collection, tagged it, 500 plus views. Yeah, tagging it's what it's all about.
yeah, and I've tagged all the singular videos that I put up, and as long as it's about a topic or whatever, then it gets searched in the algorithm. The live videos, though, like if they want to, yeah, I mean, but the problem, so team, you're absolutely right. You're 100% that that's the way to do it. The problem is it's the post work that I don't have time for. And it's the idea that like I then go live and then I have to go back and like rewatch and do clips and do highlights, and like there's nothing like channels that do the live thing all the time sometimes have like either 100% revenue based, like this is what they do, and so this is their job, so they'll sit down and do it, or they have a producer that kind of sits back and like kind of does all that. So
and Joe's got to do all of this with me on his back, texting
Yeah.
him, being like, "My monitor's
you
not
hold it
turning on."
up, sir.
Yeah,
You hold
he's
it up.
like,
You're the pillar.
"Oh, did you try checking the plug?" I'm like, "Oh, it was unplugged. Thanks for the help, Joe." Like, I'm not good at any of this stuff.
Rolls, this whole thing is done through StreamYard. It's a fantastic service. I love them to death. I've been on them since they mostly started, and it's only gotten better and better. And they've got new features that they added that I haven't even gone through and played around with. But StreamYard is great. It does this whole interaction where he doesn't need to install anything. I don't install anything. It's all browser based.
Mm-hmm.
You can do clips. You can do all sorts of stuff. You can do layouts. They just added custom layouts too. So like you can do all sorts of funky layouts. It changed the views, all that kind of stuff. And the chat shows up on the right hand side no matter where you're viewing it at, and then that allows me to kind of bring it in, right? So like Twitch can do something like that, but you need plugins, and then if you're doing it using like OBS, it's a third-party program, and there's plugins that you got to do.
Rearrange on your windows. You got to have a degree.
And I could never get OBS to work properly with someone else. So with Pedro coming in and connecting, I could never get his video, my video at the same time. And then like I would have to like make him stream to my computer, and then he would be a source, and then it would come in, and it was just a pain. I couldn't get it to work. So StreamYard has been kind of the key there. But I digress. Let's roll these credits and let's talk about these events, because there's some funny stuff.
Got two major news stories, right? I guess
at least two.
I guess some games. I don't know. We can talk about some games.
Something. We'll get it going. Hey everyone, welcome to Mid-Geek Crisis, episode 211. It is Wednesday night.
Oh shit!
Do you know where your children are?
Oh my gosh, they don't have those ads anymore, do they? They don't do that anymore. Do they do that?
No, kids don't go outside anymore. It's like my kids are on Fortnite.
Right now, is that what they're doing?
Yeah, like that. Yeah, they're on Fortnite right now. Like, yesterday was I got off work and I've just been on a cleaning spree, and so I was like, it's spring cleaning in a way. We're getting a lot of rain here, so my front yard really hasn't recovered from the winter because the spring hit, and then like there was still a lot of leaves still down, and then like all of the one of the trees drops like these pollen pods. They're like these big curly fuzzy pods, and then when they dry up, they just turn into like a nest. So they had covered the grass, and essentially none of the new growth grass is coming in because it was just like suffocating it.
Oh,
so I went out there and just did all the raking and piled it up. So I made all these leaves, and I was like, "Come on, boys, let's go do some yard work." And Connell, my oldest, was like, "Okay, Dad," and my youngest was just like, me the whole time. It's like, just like huffing and puffing the entire time. I'm like, "Buddy, I have never made you do any work, so you know what? I'm gonna make you do it now every week." So my kids are fragile. They're translucent. They're like they're shelf candy. They're not for actual use.
My kid was very excited today to go to the supermarket and buy 3 items by herself. So usually I just send her for one. I sent her with 3 today, and she got them all. So it's been great.
Look at that, man! Sending the kid out to groceries on her own. Look at this.
Yeah, I think next year she's gonna start walking home from school by herself. So I'm excited for that.
that's a
If there's what I mean, I got to teach her how to be independent and how to shiv. Those are the two things that she needs to learn how to do, right? That's pretty much it.
Team Midori, I have found that for this particular thing, if you actually wanted to use the dual camera recording, Discord
does nice dual camera.
I've heard that people use Discord, and it's better audio quality, especially if you even pay for the cheapest Nitro subscription. So like the $5 Nitro will give you good audio quality and allow you to kind of do this. So people have been using Discord to then bring the Discord video input into OBS to kind of do this. So
interesting.
That's an option.
Just to help me out, is Tosh trash and some other word? Is this a portmanteau? What's Tosh?
Well, yes, it's Tosh.
It's trash and something else, right?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. I'm just curious.
As far as I ever made us buy a condo, no more lawn work for me.
That's good rules. I'd love to do that.
Condo, yeah. Well, yeah.
No, I just like to do no more lawn work.
Yeah, my the conversation in the house has been because of the lawn work and all that. The reason that led up to me doing lawn work was that my lawn guy disappeared again. This is now our
better work elsewhere.
Yeah, this is our second or third lawn guy, and what happens here in Tejas is the winter comes, right, and by winter it just means it gets cold and the grass doesn't grow, so it just slows down and doesn't grow, and then there's no need for them to come bi-weekly here, so they stop showing up, and they're like, oh, they'll come back in the spring or whatever, and they don't.
Yeah,
sometimes I gotta call them, but now I call them and there's no answer, and they never touched base with me, and I think I still owed them a week so like and also my particular individual that cuts my grass and does my lawn work doesn't do digital payments. I have to pay cash.
Of course you do. You got to pay taxes.
I get it for taxes. I get it. But at the same time, like, it made it super inconvenient. So because I never had, and also he'd show up like every other Friday, and you never know when on that Friday. So I would try to have the cash ready, or I would forget, and I'm like running to the ATM. By the time I come back, they leave, and then they're, I call them. I'm like, hey, you got to get to pay, and they're like, oh, just pay me next week. I'm like, crap. Now it's piling up.
Oh my god, yeah. Finally, I just bought my own lawnmower.
That's exactly what happened. It's like we're going to invest in a lawnmower, and then my buddy was like, hey, my brother-in-law gave us a gas one, but I have my battery one. Do you want it? And I was like, you just need a new battery. I was like, yes. So,
I love it. The battery ones are awesome. I love that.
Yeah. So we did that. So now I'm like, oh no, I get to now do a couple, minutes of yard work. Big deal.
You know what? I used to dread it, but now I really enjoy the 20 or 30 minutes where I put headphones in and no one bothers me because they know I'm outside mowing the lawn. Like I understand the secret of lawn work now. It's just that no one bothers you for 30 minutes. Because if they do bother you, that means I'm going to ask them to do something. Oh, can you get those sticks? Oh, can you clear out that section so they don't come out for 30 minutes? It's very nice.
Yep. Yeah, the kids have been getting more and more chores, like take out the trash and like, hey, go empty out the dishwasher, and hey, go take the laundry to the laundry room, that kind of stuff. It's just, getting there. I think I've pampered them too much. Now it's time to give them some calluses.
Calluses. Look at you. Calluses not from video game calluses.
Not from video games. Yeah.
From video game
mouse clicking. How's your week been, man?
It's been a long week. I don't know. Fans of the show might have met Kabuki, but Kabuki passed today. She was sick over the weekend, and she passed away today. So that's been my week.
That was it a natural passing, or was
it? Yeah. Kabuki was 19 years old, looked like a kid.
No, as in like, or did you have to take her into?
We had to take her in. Okay. Yeah. The quality of life dipped very quickly.
Very quickly.
So that's the sadness. Kabuki Gamer Cat. Thank you. Thank you very much. I appreciate it, Rolls. I know, team, it was sad for me as well. I didn't mean to bring it down, but that's been
no. I mean, life happens, So so again, we talk about our kids and whatnot constantly. How did the conversation go with the child?
Well, we told her that Kabuki wasn't doing well, right? And that we're worried about her. We took her to the vet, and we said to her that, we should spend a lot of time being kind to Kabuki because she won't be around for long, is basically what we said. And then we told her this morning that she should say goodbye. And she, she cried a little bit. She had a lot of questions about death. And then there you go.
No, Stadium.
Says, did I come in during a sadness? Yes, Stadium. My cat passed away, and we put her to sleep today. Kabuki Quantum Cat. I should put a couple pictures of her up on the Discord. She was a good board game cat in that
Board
she
game
would
cat.
come up, knock the pieces around, and then lie down right in the middle
Lie
of
on
whatever
top of the
board
board.
game you were playing. Joe has some great pictures of her ruining our D&D game. Not
Our buddy
ruining,
Adam.
enhancing our D&D games and things like that. So thank you, everyone. I very much appreciate
Yeah, it was so funny. I think there wasn't a board game session where I had taken pictures that Kabuki wasn't in the picture.
Yeah, I asked a friend of the show, Adam, for some pictures, and he just dropped 200 on me. He's like,
it was like, here you go, boom, and
every
we just
time
like
I ever played with you, here's some cat pictures.
Here's some board game cat pictures, and sure enough, it was like, what was great about it is you could almost remember the game session, right? Like it was, you would see the D&D, or what was the game that the picture I put up was the dungeon one, the one where you build the dungeon, the caverns, the underground one. What was that one called? Thunderstone? No.
Thunder Tree? Is that
no, it was a board game, a tabletop where they had the little minis and you'd pull out the board. What's that?
Was it Descent?
I think it might have been Descent.
Descent Journey into the Underdark? That one?
So it was basically just an underground like cave system that you build. And I remember playing that. So
and
I think she's laying on top of that board.
She was full on top of it, yeah. But it's interesting. Looking at all the pictures, it was nice to see pretty much everyone I had over to play D&D had at one point or another interacted with Kabuki. Oh, Tim, come on, man. Don't.
Let's do it.
Don't tempt me. I mean, we might need a 7th player for our Friday campaign. It's been a struggle to get 4 adults online at the same freaking time. We added a 6th player and we still can't get 4.
Yeah, we had a 6th player and we couldn't get a number of 4 for sure.
Still can't get 4.
Speaking of D&D, that's a good question. So one, we'll talk about it a little bit on the show because we haven't. Last time we were here, we didn't get a chance to. So we both saw the D&D movie, which was we could talk about that. But also, I last weekend, I had the kids kind of do more chores and whatnot, and then I told them, hey, once you finish those chores, if you do everything right, this is what we're gonna do. And I was like, we're gonna pack up and we're gonna go to the tabletop store. Madness here in Dallas area, and we're gonna pick out your dice. You need to have a character thought up, and I gave them all the PDF of the player's handbook, and they all went through it, started picking. And so I told them before we went, you have to have a class and a race ready to go.
Them a homework assignment.
I gave them a homework assignment, and they both picked it up. And so we've got my.
Let me guess, Dragonborn Paladins.
No. One is my youngest, Oliver, is a female elf rogue.
Female elf rogue. Okay.
I was like, interesting.
Good choice.
Awesome. I was like, what was good about that is
playing a female ranger, right? Is that
right. Well, I'm playing a female ranger, but it's always interesting. Like when you're a kid and you're a boy and growing up, usually you don't want to, you're kind of almost shamed to pick a female character, right? Until you get older, you realize sometimes kind of badass. Like you get to like
whole different game. Yeah.
You get to play a different game, get to think differently and put yourself in the shoes of that's the whole purpose of role playing, right? Pick something that you're not. And so I was like, good for you, kiddo. Like, all right, that's awesome. And sure enough, when we got to the game store, he picked out a dice bag, and the dice bag has Rogue like embroidered on it. So they picked out the dice set, they put the dice bag, and then I had them pick out a mini off the wall.
Oh, that's where the time was spent.
Yeah. So they walked around and looked at all. I mean, if you've ever seen pictures of Madness games here in Dallas, it's this ginormous freaking store, and they've just got a wall of like all the minis. They got Reaper and WizKid / D&D,
sure.
Wizards of the Coast, and
Reaper's based out of Texas, so
So they had Reaper and all that. And my oldest, he was kind of wishy-washy. He wanted to play a caster of some sort. And I told him, I'm like, well, you could pick Wizard if you want to, but they're kind of tough to play for your first character. And he was like, yeah. But I was like, if you want to be able to like also do a little bit of combat, then why don't you go Warlock? And he was like, okay. And he started reading and he saw that, the strongest cantrip in the game, one of the strongest base cantrips in the game, Eldritch Blast. Yep. And I was like, there you go. So sure enough, but he picked a gnome.
A gnomish warlock and a elf rogue. Actually, that's a pretty good pair.
It's a pretty good pair. But what was interesting is finding the mini. So if you've ever seen the scale of these minis, right? The the gnome minis compared, like, because they're scale, right? So a gnome mini, you would think, oh, a gnome mini would be about this big. No, gnomes are like this
They're
big
really small,
to
yeah.
the characters. So like,
Yep.
so you get 2 in a pack, and so this pack is like tiny. It's like both of the gnomes are only about this
You're
tall.
like, how is this the same price?
Yeah, how's the same price? But yeah,
I'm with you.
The
Stadium
better-
Mart says, I saw the best freaking dice today. It was totally an ad, but it got me. It got me so good.
Oh, was it the ones?
that's
So they've been hitting my sword. The ones with the eyes in the middle.
It's not the Arby's. You didn't get the Arby's D20.
I tried to, and they sold out. They sold out within like minutes.
Right. You know, I saw the link, clicked it, and said sold out, and I was like, well, that's not right. Arby's, what's going on? And I assume the beholder dice. There you go.
Yeah, the ones with the eyes floating in the middle. Yeah,
Those are what it is. That's actually pretty cool. Look at
so,
he's like, yes.
For those not in the know, I'll share the screen here. So Arby's.
Yeah, we got the meats.
So Arby's decided they've got a set of D&D dice and or just D20 dice, and sure enough, yeah,
they're like completely, and like they just dropped it, and it's not even related to the movie. They're not doing a promo. They're just like, we got dice, we got meats, and we got dice. Let's go.
Meats and dice. Like little Arby's hats floating in the middle.
Like Arby's hats. It doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't make any sense.
Well, not.
But they've sold out. This is like the second time they put them up by popular demand. Arby's dice are here.
They have
on every adventure with these dice.
Sold out in
a
like
tiny signature hat.
Yeah, I would have loved this set of Arby dice. Just
so would I.
Nice to meet you.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah, no. Where we have good meetings, I think is another one they can go.
Yeah. So I tried. Trust me. I saw the tweet going up, and I was like, boom,
boom. They were all gone. Yeah,
all gone.
No. And all of them are now on eBay, right?
Yeah.
That's
You know what? I'm gonna look.
Everything is resold now. That's what it is. You can't get it from the original source.
Let's take a look.
Let me see the beholder dice. I don't have the. Yeah, exactly, Tim. That's exactly what I'm talking about. eBay low price of $75.
$75,
which can buy you like
so many dice.
45 sandwiches from Arby's. How much is a sandwich at Arby's? 150. Oh my gosh, that's $70. Yeah, there you go.
Limited edition 150. Look at this.
Yeah. These are all it's wild to me how everything is now just speculation. It's all buying things and reselling.
It's the grift.
Yeah,
right. It's the grift. It's like we buy.
I was
six available, by the way.
Oh, 6 sets available. Of course. Yeah, 6 sets. There you go. 6 sets for $85.
Well, no. 6 sets available, which means that this person has 6 to sell. This one seller has 6 of them. 4 sold, so they bought 10 total.
Yeah, there you go. All right.
Scalpers,
always.
So $84 to the original price. That is $12.
But it's what the market will bear, bro. It's what the market will bear. That's what it's all about.
Diamond hands.
Diamond hands. How is GameStop doing? I definitely did not go to the moon.
Did not go to the moon.
Elon's lost his.
You know who didn't go to the moon? SpaceX.
Oh, that's right. It had an unscheduled. What is it? Decommissioning. Unscheduled.
Is that what they called it?
Unscheduled disassembly.
Unscheduled disassembly.
Yeah. There it goes. Thank you, Stadium. I was like, I know it was a word that was like, I was like, wait. Oh no, that's not good.
Yeah. So I mean,
it's just sad. You want
sad because again, I'm a big NASA guy. I love NASA. Born and raised in Houston. Used to go to NASA like at least once a year. It's part of the culture in Houston. You go and visit. You go into to the park. Now they have Space Center. But
I imagine kids in Houston go to NASA the same way kids in New York City have to go to the Statue of Liberty, right?
Yeah. So it's the 2 field trips that every kid in Houston would go to. I mean, and anyone that's in Houston that lives in Houston that's in a chat could totally could check me on this. It's NASA, and it's the Bluebell Factory.
Oh, okay. That's the ice cream factory.
Yeah. So I mean, you go to the zoo, you do the museums and that kind of stuff. The Natural Museum of Science and whatever.
We don't count museums. Like, let's not count museums.
No, museums no. But the 2 field trips that were like not a museum or the zoo would be NASA and the Blue Book Factory.
Statue of Liberty and the Bronx Zoo. Those were the two that we always did. But I think it might have been from the Bronx. The Bronx Zoo had free Tuesdays, and it'd just be packed with all the kids from the whole city, all up in there.
Yeah.
See, I have great memory. Everyone's got memories of that.
Yeah. And before, so if you're not familiar with NASA in Houston in general, NASA used to have like a tour that you would go to, actual NASA, like they'd walk you through all of that. Eventually they split that off and turned it into kind of a museum thing where now it's NASA where they do the work every day. You know, scientists actually go in and whatever. And I guess they didn't want it to deal with like clearance and whatnot. Cause I vividly remember we're walking through like buildings and they're like, boop. And you're like, beep you through and like go through different buildings. Then they built a separate facility where they kind of took some of the like decommissioned stuff and made it more sciencey and they turned it into what's called Space Center Houston now.
It takes like 2 minutes for someone to walk into the unsecuritized tour and be like, all of these things are now mine.
All of these
things are not mine.
But I mean, you would go to what was it called? What is it? Spaceship Park, I think is what they called it. So they'd walk you out to the front lawn of NASA, and sure enough, there was the giant Saturn V like rocket just sitting on the grass.
It's like visiting the Intrepid.
Yeah.
One big regret of mine is when I went to Florida 25 years ago, my dad and grandpa went to go watch a rocket launch. I chose to go back to Disney and regret not having watched the launch. You know, it was the right choice at the time, Rolls, but now you can look back as an old man and be like, Disney's still there. And I'll never get that chance at the rocket launch.
Never get to see like a space shuttle launch again.
That's always the sadness of turning old, where you're like, oh, why did I choose the like fun thing when I could have chosen the one thing?
Yeah. So you know, back to the conversation at hand here is that SpaceX is fantastic. I think the scientists that work there, the minds that
they solved some problems that people thought were not solvable. That's what's impressive about them.
Right. I mean, we've seen that their wins have been things like reusable rockets. I mean, you've got reusable rockets landing vertically. Fantastic. Amazing feat of engineering. I hate the fact that Elon Musk is in charge of all that.
Is he in charge, or he's just one of the?
Well, he's the owner, right? He's the head CEO. I mean, the point is like, I hate that every time SpaceX does something good, the first thing I see on like Twitter is like, "Congratulations, Elon!" I'm like,
I feel like there was some Elon news recently. Like, didn't they discover his fake account or his like burner account? His like
account? I mean, we could have a whole podcast dedicated to the guy, but his ego would just inflate more.
We need like an Elon day, right? We need like episode 250. We just go after Elon for 24 hours. We would get a fundraiser. We just 24 hours.
I mean, we could just wrap it up here. So we had the SpaceX news, and then we had on 420, he decided to turn off blue check marks. If you're familiar with the Twitter like algorithm and the way Twitter works, is they turned off the blue check marks for anybody that all the legacy ones. And again, what you think about Twitter or not is irrelevant here. Twitter does serve a purpose in a way for the modern social media like connectivity. Look, again, what do you think about it here and there? I think it's a very novel idea, being able to have.
I disagree, but okay.
I think having direct contact with certain creators is kind of cool. You know, if you're a writer, an author, a creator, you have this account and you can interact with your public in a very like direct way outside of a forum or a chat room or whatever.
I love that people have that opportunity. I find whenever I try to give Twitter a chance, and I do, it is like reaching out to someone I want to talk to while someone is fire hosing shit all over everything, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's like, hey, what's up, Joe? Yeah, this coffee's great, but you're getting fire hosed.
Yeah.
With this garbage.
So, and what's interesting is I've been able to weed it. So my feed is pretty weeded, except now. So since the Elon takeover, in the app they've added the following tab, and now they have the kind of the suggested tab, and it defaults to that tab. So you don't know. So what it does is it mixes up all the people that you're following, including a bunch of people that they're following or things that are popular. And you'd be surprised. Again, everyone said it, how right your news feed becomes on the not following side. It's disgustingly bad. My
Twitter feed became hardcore Nazi paraphernalia so subtly. I didn't
very quickly. You're like, what is happening? I don't follow any of these people.
I'm at a gun show. Yeah, no, it doesn't make any sense.
But
speaking of Twitter, may want to look at the Discord bots. That's a good call out, Rose. Let's take a look.
Do we have some?
Oh, I don't know. Do we have Discord
Oh,
bots?
yes. Thank you for reminding me. I'm going to hop on and check the Twitter Discord bots that they kind of broke for some reason. I have no idea. Maybe they needed like a certificate refresh or whatever. I need to sit down and do it. I haven't had
Stadium
time.
says mine is a little more polluted, but still not as bad as a lot of you guys. Yeah, no. If you're, I don't.
Well, also,
I don't know how people get new to Twitter. That's the part that I'm like, okay, I'd rather do TikTok at this point.
To be fair, Pedro, Stadium is in Canada.
Is it different in Canada?
Well, no, but as in like, while maybe VPNs, ISPs, the way that the filtering kind of works, he does get all the probably awful, he's looking at the lower neighbors going, what the heck is going on down there? But at the same time, it's not as like,
oh no, the US exports freedom, bullets, and Nazis. And I know Canada's gotten some of our Nazis. So I just want to say that there's a hard right group up there in Canada that I
read about. I know. Like, Stadium and I have had multiple conversations about that for sure.
He's like, nothing like American craziness. No, because we are number one.
We're number one, baby. Woo! We're like that meme with the guy with the medal, biting it. pouring the champagne.
We're not gonna. We're the hold my beer types. That's what we are, right? Is that the set sail for fail?
That's set sail for fail. But anywho, good old Elon has taken over the Twitter and turned off those checkbots, and the whole purpose of those were actual verified accounts, right?
Yeah.
It made it so that you knew you were talking to so-and-so author of this famed book or so-and-so creator of this game because Twitter went through the proper channels of like contacting, talking to this person and went, hey, can you send us some identification? We'll make sure it's you. We'll put a big old like blue checkbox saying that this is this person. No one, you're not fake. You're not someone acting like this person. Then Elon took over, paid way too much for something, and it was like, now I got to find a way to monetize this. And so said, hey, we're going to make blue check boxes a payment thing. So now you have to pay $8 a month to get this checkout. And then they sweeten the pot by going, hey, we're going to add features that you've been asking for, like longer tweets and editing. So like the things that you want, you're like, yeah, this would be great. Can you give that can you make the service better? No, you got to pay $8, but you'll get a blue check. So now everyone that pays has a blue check.
Yep.
Which means that I can like sign up for Twitter, say I'm someone famous,
get your $8,
and pay my $8 and say I'm this person now. So now the blue check has no validity. Also, what's interesting is they were making big organizations, including, which I have a story on, big organizations have to pay big money for the API. And if you're not familiar with coding and the language and kind of how it works,
sure.
So an API is if you build something like a service, you have what's called an API. So it's a plugin environment. It's kind of a way for you to create an application. Yep. Like for example, on Twitch or Twitter or TweetDeck or any of those. If you wanted to, you create your own application that kind of touches our service, we would have an API, and it was open for a very long time, allowing people to make their own Twitter app and all sorts of applications and fun things to make the actual Twitter experience better. First off, they turned that off, so no third-party applications work anymore.
Right. They get rid of that whole group.
The API is now for pay, which means that anything that uses it or to share a picture to Twitter, things like Xbox, for example, like being able to like save a clip and then share it to Twitter, costs money, and not like a little bit. Yes, in Microsoft standards, it's a little bit, but it is $42,000 a month. $42,000 a month
to allow me, a user,
to allow Microsoft to use the API to further that. So Microsoft said it's gone. So no more sharing because we're not going to pay $42,000 a month.
Because there's no return.
There's no return.
You're paying for the right to create content for Twitter. That's what you're.
So essentially, now it just makes it longer. You pay.
You should go for it, Tim.
But see, it's a double-edged sword there because I don't want to give money to a service that shouldn't be charging for this kind of like verification and authenticity to begin with, right? Like I don't want. It means nothing when everyone pays for it. So what happened is as soon as they turned this on, right? Mm-hmm. People that should be paying for it don't want to pay for it anymore. So Elon got his panties in a ruffle and started like giving blue check marks to people, including people that don't like him. For example, Stephen King does not like Elon.
Yep.
Has like a actual valid feud with him and just like hates his guts. And he was like, I'm not turning it on. So I guess now I'm Stephen King on here and people can just fake it. And sure enough, people started posting all these like fake pictures, fake accounts of Stephen King going now, you know, and even one with a blue checkbox. Right. And he was like, I'm not doing it. And then maybe a few hours later, of course, Elon, like a troll, was like, yeah, you do. And then turned on a blue checkbox on Stephen King. So Stephen King had to then of course the meme on Twitter has been like making fun of anyone that pays $8 for the checkbox. Yeah. So people are going, you paid? And he's like, I didn't pay. So now you've got all these people having to go kind of vocally go, by the way, I'm not paying for this. Looks like Elon thinks I'm worthy of one and I don't want it. So the trick has been is these individuals are going in and changing their name every few hours on Twitter. And every time they change their name, it drops the blue checkbox until someone goes and re-verifies it.
Oh my gosh. So they're creating all this work for Elon. Can I propose a different suggestion to the Twitter community? Get the fuck off Twitter. Can I just?
I think
it's such an easy. I know. I haven't.
You are 100%. You're 100% able to quit cold turkey, and that's fine. I commend you on that.
This pool where it smells like piss and shit. It is awful, and that guy over there keeps throwing piss and shit at us. What are we going to do? But I'm having so much fun hanging out with my friends. Oh, more piss and shit, huh? Let's just stick around.
That's exactly it, man. This is exactly it. I can't, not now. What's so funny is what sucks even worse about this is
go to a different party.
I literally left a stinking party to go to another party. I stopped being vocal in like posting posts on Facebook. Yeah, like I was way more vocal on Facebook, and then I got off of Facebook because
Twitter's made more effective. I get it.
I was like, man, Zuck sucks. Like it got really bad on Facebook, but I can't Stadium, and the reason I can't is because I have family on there, and it's also a place that's kind of become where I share pictures of my kids with my like in-laws.
Plus, we're over 40 Stadium, so like getting rid of Facebook's tough.
It's tough nowadays. So like it just stays there. I don't post as much. It's usually just like a funny link or a funny
death and birthdays and Valentine's Day.
Valentine's Day, anniversaries, funny memories of my kids, that sort of stuff. That's what it's become. It's not a place for me to post news and like talk and have valid conversations with people. Twitter became that for me. I got active on Twitter before Elon jumped in, and it was kind of meh, but it was getting there, and then he sold it. Then they sold it, and now it's become even worse. And I'm just like,
I'm curious. I'm really curious as to where the line would be, and you might not know until you find it. But you know, like where the line is, right? This is a service. I mean, we could talk about this forever, but this is a service.
This is a valid thing to talk about on this show, by the way.
That the right is heavily involved in, that the trolls heavily use to gatekeep, ruin people's day,
disparage.
Coordinate attacks, right? Yep. It's a tool that's used for all these things. It does have good things, right? And I don't dispute that, Stadium. I don't dispute that, right? It's great for hobbies. Like I dig it sometimes.
Yeah, and that's why I use it.
It's great for other folks to mobilize. But it's run by a jackass who's inconsistent and enjoys the chaos he causes, right? Enjoys causing pain to his customers. Why stick around? It's interesting. Look. Right, so if your standards is that low, you can know, like you're right, you're doing it right. You're doing it right.
Let me tell you something. My
support, right? That's what it's all about.
My ads on Twitter have been horrendously bad because what happened is he's also pushed away tons of major companies to advertise off Twitter, right? So all of the big companies have stopped advertising. Yeah, movies and stuff still kind of advertise, but now I get like pharmaceutical companies, weird like offshoot pharmaceutical companies, weird like a lot of crypto stuff. Like those are the ads.
Yeah, it's like you're on Fox News After Dark, man. That's
right. So I've been able to. So I keep blocking those over and over again. And I trim it down. And then I use my block list a lot. I block a lot of people. So I'm trimming the fat in my followed link. So when I go to my followed page, it's nice. Like I don't usually see anything that's bad in there. And I've really been able to trim. But it's the fact that he's made that first tab even accessible or that pops up first. And if I'm not paying attention, I'll go, what is it?
Every week there's a new criminal thing that occurs to the users of Twitter, and I just can't say. I sit there and I go, well, I wonder when, as a frog, you will hop out of the pot, because they hop out of the pot. When will you hop out of the pot? Rose said, "Devil's advocate. It's kind of refreshing where a social media network no longer truly censors things. He does, for better or worse. Just because I don't agree with you doesn't mean you have the right to say what you're saying." So yeah, I mean, we could talk about the free speech fallacy, right? Fascists use free speech and understand that liberals will protect free speech. I'm talking lowercase liberal, and they take advantage of that, right? The goal of fascism is to destroy rights, and the challenge there is that we have to protect our rights, and fascists take advantage of our protection of rights. It's complicated, but the idea here is you cannot tolerate. You have to be intolerant of intolerance. Like, you have to work against that no matter what they want to say. And it's not agreement, it's assault, but whatever. Elon does in fact censor people. He does in fact block people. He does in fact make it difficult for the algorithm to spot people up there. So Elon is leveraging his tool to do bad things.
Yeah.
And we all know this. The evidence is out there.
when you're one of the richest people in the world, if not the richest, and you can sit on shit mountain, like, you're up top throwing shit down, and like, it doesn't matter, good or bad has no meaning when you're like, you have all the money in the world to buy whatever view, whatever take, whatever you want.
Yeah, he's got what he needs to do, and no one can stop him. I mean, it's bad when you're watching a YouTube or Facebook video where all of a sudden gun and death and blood is censored. I don't disagree with you, Rolls. I think sometimes you want that content, you want to be able to view it. I also think companies want the advertising dollars. And when you talk about censorship, right, they're not censoring. They're making their content advertisement friendly.
Yeah.
Right. Only governments can truly censor. Right. So these governments are not censoring. This is the thing I keep coming back to. Right. I don't want to see blood on my Facebook feed. Maybe you do. Who has to work harder? Right. I'm of the opinion you should work harder to find blood. A baseline should be no blood. But that's like a baseline should be no pornography. We've all gotten together and agreed on that. A baseline should be no pornography.
For many years, we've had like scales.
But you can find it. You can find a lot of.
I mean, I don't understand. Like, in the world of like customizability in our technology, if that is what you want, if you want the uncensored NC-17, content,
you'll find it. It's not hard.
Well, not only that, like, I don't understand why that just can't be a slider. Like, and like, just,
I assume because folks work very hard to beat the sliders.
I guess.
Yeah,
but like
folks go out of their way.
I mean, I agree with you. They do, but the idea here is that, like, work within the confines of the crap by blocking all of it means that, I don't know. There's just, like, again, everything is a double-edged sword when it comes down to like how things function. And if you just kind of allow it, but then like allow people to control it more, it just becomes more of a like, yes, there is, but you can put yourself in your own bubble, but it just feel like we don't have the control on some of these social media. Again, perfect example is Twitter doesn't allow you to edit a tweet. And the fact that that's always been available, like, even previous establishment, the previous management had the option and they never turned it on. And sure enough, it's now there. But then they went, we're going to put it behind a paywall. Seems to me like, why are they not allowing us to control this stuff? Like, you could find so many other ways to monetize Twitter if you just give the public what they wanted. Give the public what they want, you'll get more followers, more users. These users will then find another reason to pay. But when you literally hold something that people have been wanting for years and years and years behind a paywall, knowing that it was always there, you go, now I'm not going to pay for it at all.
Is this your first day?
No, I mean, yeah, I mean, I'm just.
This is the carrot on the stick, right?
Yeah, no, I get it.
I get
it. I mean, it's a perfect example. I mean, this is. I mean,
dust
right here. This is fine. Like, this is fine. Like,
so I love watching documentaries on like World War II, and all of a sudden, like 6 months ago, because of ad revenue, certain words that in that context are perfectly acceptable are not bleeped out. There's a challenge there. It's occasionally that kind of, and I'm going to use the word censorship here, that kind of cleanup and bleeping out swings way the other way, right? It's kind of like DRM, digital rights management, right? Like there was a moment where it just became so hard to play a freaking game, everyone just pirated them, right? It's just like,
and we talk about this on the show all the time. And one of the big conversations with DRM is like, with DRM, for example, especially if it's any type of online DRM or anything that has to call home, if those servers go away, then games from small studios or whatever stop. You're hoping a cracker can come out there and crack it just so that you can play a game that you actually bought.
Yeah.
Or two, preservation. DRM causes problems with games and things in the long run. Or some of these intrusive DRMs make it so that they break your computer. They break the functionality. They slow down things. Games are installed bloating, 15-20% system usage on a computer because it's trying to run this DRM so that you don't copy it is not cool.
So cool. And you're right, Team Pandora. Imagine if Steam went down. Well, how would I play any of my games?
Right. And so like and the opposite swing of that
6? No. Wait, no.
The opposite side of things would be like services like GOG. And GOG is a service that you could pay for, just like Steam. Not every game goes to GOG, but when you buy a game on GOG, it's yours. It's digital, but it's yours. You can actually go and download it, burn it to CD, and hold on to it. It's
like itch.io. I do the same thing off of itch.io. You can sort of
itch.io is the same way. It is a digital storefront, but you can download it, put it on a disc, and keep it and archive it for your own purposes.
There's something to be said for that, but I mean, going back to your own challenge roles, I agree. Right there, it's weird to me especially as I get older that I'm watching even cartoons where they're warning me about the context. I'm like, hey, wait a minute, this was fine 6 months ago, a year ago, 10 years ago. What's different now? And sometimes things are different, and that's fine. But bleeping it out so quickly without any explanation, just because of ad revenue, and again, this is where capitalism is killing us. You roll into it.
Let's see.
So, yeah, I mean, I don't want to.
I mean, that's yes, sort of. I mean, the idea here is what happens with that.
We're there now, except there's the.
I think the problem with that is Tim, and this is one of those scenarios where I kind of agree with you, but what ends up happening there is, the hateful side weaponizes itself, right? Yeah. So what happens is if let's say one affluent person with a lot of like particular followers says something, and then all of a sudden the backlash happens, what ends up happening is that person's entire like fan base then shows up and causes like basically riots in the streets of this social media network or whatever, and causes problems, and then it ruins it for everyone.
Yeah,
it's like one person poops in the pool, and all of a sudden it's like, oh man, it's awful. But then they're like, well, I should be able to poop in the pool. Then all the person's friends go, we're gonna poop in the pool too, and they all just kind of line up around the pool and poop in it. And you're like, well, now no one wants to get in the pool.
You're totally describing Twitter again. Now we're back. No, and Tim, I think if we were all in person in a bar, I'm with you. Like, who's going to punch the Nazi in a bar?
Anonymity has this false sense of like toughness.
Also, I think it allows them to gather strength by gathering. Whereas before, it felt like this. Before with the internet, you might go into a bar and there might be a Nazi in there, and they would get tossed out, right? And that Nazi would be alone, or might have 2 or 3 friends. Now it's easy for them to form fucking parades, right? Like they coordinate these things. They like you say, they weaponize these information tools to get together and come at you.
Oh yeah, bro, they got a subreddit.
Oh, dude. I mean, that's because we've got to give them the right to gather in free speech, right? That's how, yeah. Maybe we should think some sort of old school detective agency on them.
Oh my God, let's bring that up. Thank you so much. So if you haven't been following the news on this, here on the show, we'd like to talk about gaming, tabletop, all sorts of stuff. And if you haven't read this story that happened, it's pretty recent. So the short end of the story is that Magic the Gathering is releasing a set called the March of the Machine. And it's just hitting stores, or it's out, and it's a cool set, but there is a follow-up set that's happening, kind of like a DLC or that's called The Aftermath.
Mm-hmm.
And first off, the card logos look very similar. One says March of the Machines, and one says March of the Aftermath underneath it. Apparently, an individual went to a card shop and bought a box of said set, and he walked when he got home. I mean, I think he knew in the store, but didn't say anything to the proprietor of the store.
Heart beating, like, oh, I've got this.
He was just like, okay, thanks, bye. Went home. Immediately was like, I'm a YouTuber. Went like, guys, I've got this set, and look what they sold me. It's the Aftermath set, a set that isn't supposed to come out till like late May, early June. Somehow or another, somewhere there was an F up in a warehouse somewhere and sent this card seller boxes of unreleased cards. And even the owner of the store is like, I'm like a Pokemon Yu-Gi-Oh! I don't know anything about these cards. Like, I just sold them because they were
cards, and they were
cards.
money. I like money. Yeah.
I like money. So he went on there and streamed, showed all of this artwork and stuff for these cards that are completely unreleased. And like 24 hours later, a knock on the door happens, and freaking Pinkerton agents showed up. Now, I mean, Pedro, what do you know about Pinkerton? If you're unfamiliar with Pinkerton, Pinkerton is essentially American Gestapos. They are secret police at this point. They are so old.
So, like, they're non-governmental, however.
Non-governmental agencies.
These are capitalist Gestapo, right? These are the best kind of Gestapo.
Is there any other type?
They've been breaking unions since they were unions, baby. Here's my favorite. Let me see if I can add this to the stream. Is that?
Yeah, go for it.
Look at their fucking homepage. Look at their symbol in the corner.
Their symbol is literally an eye
with the like the Illuminati triangle.
Right? It wasn't the Illuminati a logo. It used to be the pyramid.
Team Pandora, I'm 100% with you. Right? Like what?
Yeah. So I just want to re-emphasize this. Hasbro, owners of Wizards of the Coast, said, "Oh, some stuff leaked," and they streamed it. They didn't go, let's call our lawyers, or hey, let's see. They went full hog, and like somewhere someone has Pinkerton on their contact list. It was like, yeah, sup. You know what to do. Like, I just can't imagine the conversation. Like, how do you go from like, they didn't call law enforcement. They just went straight to privateer Pinkerton.
Well, because they can't call law enforcement, right? Because this person paid legal tender for legally gained product. That no one broke the law.
No one broke the law because these cards weren't even supposed to be at the person's store. What happened is Hasbro themselves made the mess up and sold them to the store, and the store owner just sold them like Magic the Gathering cards.
Totally normal.
There was no broken embargo. This isn't like a video game leak where there's like where Nintendo, for example, will release a new game.
Walk out of the company headquarters with
on the box it says do not sell until this particular date, but they're sitting in the back waiting. No. These aren't even supposed to be in the stores. That's nuts.
It's ridiculous. And so every time the Pinkerton comes up, and they don't come up often, but I knew they were still around. I mean, like, you think about their website. Look at this. Risk management and security is not just what we do. It's our calling. We trace our roots back to 1850, Secret Service, whatever. They've been building industry leader in developing innovative security and risk management solutions for national and international organizations. That is a real mouthful for saying we bust up strikes with clubs.
Yeah,
right?
They are paid for mobsters.
Yes, they will investigate. They will bop heads with clubs. And I can't how, do you get recruited into the Pinkertons? Like, how do you get a job? You can apply on their website, and I'm gonna tell you though, they're the Pinkertons. They've been around since 1850. You still have to upload your resume and then type it in. Right, come on, like you can't fix that problem. Still drives me crazy. Still have to type in your resume after uploading.
I mean, according to the Polygon story, the modern day Pinkertons are descended from the original Pinkerton Detective Agency. Again, it started off as a detective agency, right? Which was founded in Chicago more than 170 years ago. The company has played a role in major historical events, not the least of which was its stint as a violent strike-breaking private paramilitary force in the late 19th and early 20th century. Pinkerton, now a subsidiary of Paragon Systems.
Oh yeah, Paragon Systems.
I love that. Currently counts security and loss prevention among
Umbrella.
its many. Umbrella.
So you're always in the shade, right? That's what it's always about. Yeah, they got headquarters in Mexico, which you know what they're doing in Mexico, right?
Oh,
they've got headquarters and they're doing all right. So yeah,
this is just like such a swing. Like it wasn't like, man. So also here's the thing, right?
Shady contract deals. This is a toy company, y'all.
Yeah, a toy company. So we think about it this way: like if you break the law, or for example, you do something illegal, or some law enforcement agency thinks you did something illegal, there's proper channels. I then go to the law enforcement agency and go, hey, they have this, and like, do you have any evidence? Yes, I have this tape here that shows them kind of breaking in and stealing this. Okay, we now have that evidence. We can now go to a judge and get a warrant. They show up to your door. They go, hey, we got a warrant. We need to come in.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Mm-hmm. So that's law enforcement that's following the letter of the law. Pinkerton is private. They knocked on this person's door and took this stuff that this person paid for. I just want to know how, like, I need to know how this all went down because, first off, if someone knocked on the door and was like, hey, I'm like, are you law enforcement? No. Then you can't come in. Somehow or another, they still came in. So that is what kind of like,
well, it'd be a shame if something happened to your car outside or your beautiful wife. I'm just asking questions, hypotheticals. Why don't you let me in and we can talk about it inside?
Are we still talking about Twitter? Is this still a Twitter thread? What's going on here? Hypothetical. Oh.
I mean, these guys, they probably, the guy knew he got a scoop. The guy, my thought process is he got the Magic the Gathering cards. He knew he was not in trouble, but he probably was like, oh, they're on to me. I'll just hand them over, right? He's like, I'm not looking to get beat up by no Pinkertons in my own house. Take the Magic cards, right? That's what I would do. There's no reason not to, cooperate, because you don't want to get beat up by a bunch of Pinkerton guys who probably are, let's be honest, retired cops or retired military officers or Dartmouth fraternity bros who aren't going to feel bad about beating the crap out of you, right? That's all these Pinkerton
They're
guys.
mostly frat bros.
Please, Pinkerton, whatever, come after me. I don't care. Whatever. You're not going to find anything, and you're going to...
What you got, bro?
I guarantee you that beating me will not be a good time.
Wait, hold on. Oh man, I just like that was not on my bingo card this week. I just want to put it out there. I was not expecting Pinkerton to be involved in any type of gaming news, and sure enough, here we are.
They're like rapid, unscheduled disassembly, Elon Musk fake accounts, and Pinkertons. Wait, wait a second.
Pinkertons.
Wait, I mean, but yeah, who knows? Who knows? What else are you gonna do?
So, two things we're going to talk about before the end of the show. One, let's quickly talk about D&D movie.
Okay,
I got to watch it, and I enjoyed it. But you, as a DM, as someone that runs our D&D, and has run multiple D&D campaigns, and has many more years of playing D&D than I do, what did you think?
I thoroughly enjoyed it. I thought it was so interestingly, right? The haphazard nature of the plot, the ludicrous hijinks of the players, the inconsistent application of physics and rules made it a perfect D&D movie, right? Like at one point the druid transforms a million times, and then later in the movie you're sitting there being like, are you not going to transform? That's perfect, right? Because the player didn't think of it at the time, right? So, or the DM let them get away with it, read the actual rules, and was, wait a minute, Joe, you can't transform 7 times in one combat. You can only do it once a day, right? So next time you play. So it was great. The characters were great. Michelle Rodriguez was amazing.
Amazing. Absolutely amazing in that particular role.
I thought the CGI was unintrusive. And they picked the right monsters to do CGI with.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't want to spoil anything, but the characters were so well cast. It was great. I saw it with my D&D group. We had a great time. The one thing I did say at the end, I was like, listen, as your DM, I want to let you know, nothing in that movie followed the rules of D&D, so don't ask to do that nonsense, right? Don't ask to do that. What's it? Oh, that's nice. Look at that.
Yeah, I've had that one for a while, but yeah. No,
So,
I
yeah,
mean,
so
the movie was, again, like I told you before, is I think you can go in and watch a good fantasy movie, a good fantasy heist / journey /
in the Marvel style with hijinks and jokes,
hijinks and group chemistry. The entire group chemistry worked. The villain was enough there, like you felt the villain, but also didn't overstay its welcome.
Yep.
They're welcome. The overarching story was kind of a little out of but they established a lore that you could follow. You didn't have to know anything about D&D to enjoy the story, but if you did know about D&D,
you got
to really like go. Harpers. Ooh, the Harpers. Tell me more about these Harpers. Ooh. Yeah, they name drop. It's always weird to hear. It's weird to hear like in a cinematic like movie. They go, oh yeah, that's as far as Baldur's Gate. And you're like, it's weird to hear the name of a town, Baldur's Gate, like used in like conversation.
Yeah, it was great. I mean, I thoroughly enjoyed it. There was a lot of neat applications of the D&D world that I found super enjoyable. Right?
Yeah.
I'm hoping it makes enough money for a number 2.
I think it did. I think the reviews were positive enough that it looks like the franchise is good. Now let's talk a little bit about just in general, even or we've talked about it on the show before, D&D as a marketing thing that Hasbro apparently likes to break kneecaps and ankles to protect. It is one of their big like franchises.
Oh yeah.
And earlier on in the year in the show, we talked about how they were like messing around with the whole like
they're trying to monetize it as much as possible,
best they can. And this movie really, I think, does a good job on it because, sure enough, one, if you haven't walked into this toy aisle recently at any major big box store or your Target, your local Walmart, whatever, there is D&D toy sets.
Yep.
That are pretty cool looking. You know, there is D&D like swords and shields and whatever, and her axe in the movie is a big foam like axe that you can buy from Nerf, which is pretty cool.
That was a great scene, by the way.
Yeah, great scene. The axe was great. But what else I've seen? I was at the checkout at my grocery store, and you know how they've always got like those like the time and people and the specific like Elvis in a whole like big magazine of just like this random dead celebrity or whatever. They had a complete guide to D&D magazine book thing on.
I should pick it up so I can read it. Is what I should do, right? Just read it
at the checkout, man. And sure enough, I opened it up and it was beautiful art, and it was like talking about the lore. It wasn't talking about just the game, but it was talking about like cities and history and like the creation of the game. And I was just like, this is something that I would have picked this up at a bookstore, not at the checkout of my local grocery store.
It's good fun. It's weird. I hope it can maintain its popularity without sacrificing its quality. Oftentimes, right? That we've gone through this before, haven't we? We've lived this where it's just got super popular and then it just burns out. So we'll see how this goes. So
you're right. That happens a lot with
here's the kicker. Do you want to know what the kicker is? Here's the kicker. I just started a new campaign with my players here in Syracuse. We're having a grand old time. In my heart, the villain was going to be revealed later in the campaign as a Red Wizard of Thay. Who do they introduce in the D&D movie? It's a villain. Sorry, spoilers. And I'm sitting there, I'm watching this movie, I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? Now,
which to be fair,
I copied the movie, but I was here before the movie, goddamn. I was here 30 years ago. This is my Red Wizard of Thay.
I mean, if you know about the lore, you know that Red Wizards, like the Red Wizard, like the whole, I mean, in the campaign we're playing right now, Red Wizards, we've got a Red Wizard that's like following along. It's running around the dungeon. They're
Red Wizards of Thay as well. Yes.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so they're hanging. They're there. They are a baddie.
Yeah.
So, Yeah, I mean it's there. It exists. It is now.
I'll see it though.
mainstream.
It's very enjoyable. The CGI spectacle is not intrusive. It's a lot of fun.
Chris Pine plays a good
good.
bard.
Might be my favorite Chris. Might have bumped up in the rankings to my favorite Chris of the Chris's.
Yeah, all the Chris's. I think he's up there
Hemsworth
now.
dropped a few ranks since the last Thor movie, and so Chris Pine has moved on up.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So last thing we're going to talk about real quick, and only because this came out. This came up yesterday. Yesterday. So they dropped the new trailer for Flash, the Flash movie that's coming out. And this is kind of a weird one. Again, I talked about it a little bit on a post, and I'm just gonna say it out there on my show because I feel like
it's the Twitter of DC movies coming out. So
yeah. So this is kind of a weird one. And again, if my overarching backstory of my own character of Joe here is I love DC, and DC movies are never good to me. Like they don't like the franchise doesn't treat me good.
It doesn't live up to its potential.
It doesn't live up to the potential that it has. With the mass franchises that Warner Brothers owns, they can't seem to knock it out of the park.
Unless it's Batman.
Unless it's Batman, right? Like Batman seems to be the only thing they can.
Because everyone loves seeing a rich guy.
But everyone loves seeing Batman. Like Batman is just a character that you could. It doesn't matter. It'll make money.
Fascism.
Yeah. We do. There's a whole study on that. Like post certain age or certain year, like Batman has become popular because they like the idea of like those single man, like the weird dark, like busted kneecaps fascism kind of thing. And whether you like it or not, there is a level of fascism to Batman that you can really
a level, yeah,
for sure. And the heroic Boy Scout has become cheesy, and so like we like our heroes to be brooding, and like the Punisher is popular because of this particular type of mentality.
Black and white approach to everything.
Yeah.
Give me the Flash trailer because I'm curious as to how many times. Man, why can't I remember the name of that actor? What is his name again?
Ezra Miller.
Yeah, Ezra Miller.
So the trailer came out, and there was early viewings of it today or yesterday as well. And we'll talk about it. Let's show this trailer because it's interesting to me.
Let's throw it up. You might want to drop the Dungeons and Dragons because now it's DC Flash.
That's right. Let's go. Thank you. That's
yeah. You got to represent the brand. Rock the brand every chance you get.
Boom, baby. But you know what? I'm gonna drop it anyway. Let's go.
I lost my parents. That pain made me who I am. I spent a lifetime trying to right the wrongs of the past. As if fighting crime would bring my parents back. You actually did it.
I can't imagine what you've been through. I love you, Monkey. You lost both parents in one day.
Barry! Call 911 now!
I went back in time to save my parents. But instead, I completely broke the universe.
If you went back and changed the past,
This world must die.
you changed the future.
Do you know what this symbol stands for?
Means hope, right?
I will help you fight Zod.
You want to get nuts? Let's get nuts.
Oh, Batman, you're already nuts.
I have to undo what I did.
These scars we have make us who we are. I'm not meant to go back and fix them. Don't let your tragedy define you.
What did you do?
No matter what we do, we're not going to be able to fix this. No! Nobody dies!
Wait, is it a Batman movie? I'm so confused. No.
You're strapped to your parachutes.
Hey, where's yours?
Yeah, man. I mean, I can't deny it. It looks great. There are, you can't. That just looks like every fan book, wet dream, Flashpoint movie that I've been wanting. Like this is awesome.
How many times can you be fooled?
Bro. That's the problem. It's like you think you're out, and they bring you back in.
Oh, that last one was terrible. I'll never forgive him for this. And then the trailer drops, and you're like,
"Ooh, I'll be there day one, popcorn, baby." Yeah, no, I know. So here's the thing, right? Like this is an ambivalent movie. It's tough. I've talked about it on the show before. The history of Warner Brothers and DC and what they're doing, and now that we've got James Gunn as head of DC, this movie was pre-James Gunn. This movie is the end / disassembling / reboot / if you're unfamiliar with Flashpoint in the comic books, the purpose of Flashpoint was kind of a multiverse reboot scenario.
right.
The Flash breaks the entire freaking universe and rewrites it. And so this is the end of all that. And this is why you have Michael Keaton.
First phase, essentially, or second.
Right. This is why Michael Keaton and Ben Affleck as Batman, because it's a different, they've found a way to kind of bring you into the movies, because they're like Michael Keaton Batman, multiverses, and multiple Flashes, same Flash, multiple timelines, whatever. But here's the weirdness that I feel about it. One, the early reviews, or the people that went to go see this movie, are saying it's phenomenal. That's okay. It's unanimously being said that it's phenomenal, which is yay. But also, as a DC fan, you can see that there are two characters missing that should be in this event-changing movie.
There doesn't need to be more people in this movie.
The most popular. Well, if you're going to end the entire damn thing, right? So the whole purpose is you're ending it. You're ending everything that's come before it. This is like the end cap. You should have these two characters at least show up, at least once. They don't, because money, because spite, because of not wanting to pay them, because of I want to do what I want to do, which has been the attitude with Warner Brothers. One is the most popular movie they had.
Wonder Woman, sure.
Got a sequel that didn't do very well, had a first movie that was well received and has now been canned in the role and will not be back.
Yeah.
Two, you have an entire subplot regarding Zod and Superman with no Superman, and it's just weird to not see
is that Supergirl?
It's a version of some multiverse, some universe where instead of Kal-El, Kara shows up. And it's just this weird, and also that's been captured. She's been captured. She landed. It's sort of Candace. She landed in the comic books. Superman, that the version of Flashpoint Superman lands in a city, and the government captures him and keeps him underground and experiments on him. So when he finally does escape, he's kind of like this emaciated, really thin, never seen sunlight. Eventually, he gets a little form of sunlight, gets powerful. That's the character that they're using for Supergirl here. So it's they're rewriting a lot of it for the movie, which works. It's fine, but it's kind of sad.
It's not, Joe, because I'm telling you that if they figure out a way to cram Wonder Woman and Superman in there, the movie would be a bloated mess.
It already is a bloated mess.
Right. You don't need more.
But I think
I know you want more, but you do not need to add more to that gumbo.
But what I'm saying is this gumbo feels like they took certain ingredients and replaced it, which I for example, Supergirl's cool there. Like a part of me is going, that's freaking awesome. This is a cool character. We get to see this cool character, this carve, this version, this character does exist in the comic books, but not in this role. They took this character and put his role. Very cool. But also feels a little shoehorned, and this gumbo could have tasted better if they used authentic pieces. You know what I'm saying?
No, stop it. Stop.
I can't. I know. Again,
enjoy the movie for what it is, which looks like a Flash level romp. That was my issue with Batman v Superman. It was a bloated mess, way too long. I mean, Avatar long. Granted, I did watch the director's cut. That was 18 hours long, right? Yes.
Rolls
So-
but I think what happened with Batman v Superman is that was one of those movies that wanted to feel bigger because the director, writer director, David Goyer and Zack Snyder really wanted to fit too much in the movie because they wanted to build a world way too fast. This is legitimately the end of that.
Right.
This is the end. Like there is no more. Some of these characters are never going to be on the screen again. We're never going to see Michael Keaton Batman again. This is it. Michael Keaton got super happy with his ending and Returns, honestly. But seeing him again in the suit's kind of cool. This is the end of Ben Affleck Batman, which again is cool that we're going to get to see because we get to see him in the suit one more time. A Batman that I thought deserved better and is probably going to get a really cool scene here at the end. That's all I wanted. Give me, because I know he's not in the movie for longer than maybe 20 minutes, 10 minutes.
You want to say goodbye to all these characters you thought was wasted potential. I get it.
Yeah, man.
It.
I mean, you had Gal Gadot, Ben Affleck, and Henry Cavill. That when you see all three of them in like a Hollywood shot in one of those promo shots, all three of those characters really encompass like the character. You see them and they're like, those are live action versions of those characters. And now they're like, we've wasted them, so now we have to pick 3 new actors. And I'm not saying the 3 new actors that they pick for Batman, which a new Batman, a new Superman, a new Wonder Woman won't be equally as good. It's just the idea that like these characters felt like they were wasted. They were just wasted characters. And Henry Cavill is this actor now that's like only gotten bigger.
Yeah.
So it's hard to say goodbye to a character that you thought he really embodied, only for him to like be snubbed. Like his whole character and timeline and everything is just snubbed.
Yep.
That's my point. I'm going to go see the movie. I'm enjoying it. Ezra Miller is kind of problematic in general, but I'm a DC fan and seeing Michael Keaton on the screen again is fantastic.
We can make you a supercut Rolls if you want.
I think he's already got that.
He's already got the supercut. Sign up for his Plex server.
For his Plex server, baby. Folks, that's it for this episode. There was a small
when does
story.
That drop, by the way? When does that
June? In the title, I did put EU blocks MS and Activision, but I don't have any more news on that. Outside of that, if you haven't been following the drama on that particular Microsoft bought Activision, or they tried to, and it's kind of been going through committees. They got to go through make sure that's not a monopoly.
Well, here's the short of that is. The U.S. government was like, I don't know that we like this. This feels like a big company you're making here. We're going to look into it. And Microsoft said, all right, fine. We're going to go to the EU and they're going to help us out, right? And once we get the EU on our side, we know you're going to collapse.
And the EU was okay with it. And then Sony was like, crap, they're doing exactly our playbook of buying and paying companies, but we've been doing it without being Microsoft.
And cloud-based became a whole different distinction. So the EU was like, let's put the kibosh on this for now. And now I think that's the big deal. So
essentially the EU blocked them and was like, no, Sony says it's going to be bad for business. And Sony's like, yeah, it's bad for business. Hey, Square Enix, you're not allowed to put Final Fantasy 16 on a Microsoft system ever.
Yeah.
Like literally, like that was the paper. They literally found the contract on it. And they're like, Sony's literally paying these companies to go, you can never be on a Microsoft system.
Yeah.
But like that's the same tactic that they're saying that Microsoft is doing. It's like,
this is I mean, Microsoft has always had monopolies, and this is no different. My favorite is when the lawyers for Microsoft are all like, "This ruling stifles competition and innovation between companies," and I'm sitting there being like, No, it doesn't. You're just buying them all. That's not competition, Microsoft.
To be fair, this is like one of those, again, the world is full of double-edged swords, and Microsoft in general, like, they don't need Activision, but I think it's going to be good for Activision in the long run, especially with Blizzard and Activision. But the turnaround side is like, I don't want to root for Microsoft, but Microsoft at the same time, like, owning them, there's nothing wrong with it. Also, if again, the long game story we've been talking about on this show is that Microsoft is no longer about making consoles and games. It's about owning studios and publishing their game on every platform. And one of the big arguments that Sony made was like, well, they're not going to let Call of Duty out. And like, they're like, we will give you Call of Duty. We want Call of Duty on your system. What, you're the most popular system? We'll put our game on there. We just make money.
Yeah, there's games as a service is what Microsoft is all about now.
Yeah, so it's they're playing a little dirty. Sony's playing a little dirty on against a opponent that's always played dirty. Only this time, Microsoft is like, we're not trying to play dirty here. We're just
They are trying, Joe.
this is their mentality. It's like, we're not trying to play dirty. We're just trying to buy a big company and become bigger, bro.
I gotta have to get an actual spray bottle.
Look, I'm just saying, like Microsoft in general, like I don't care for Activision Blizzard very much.
I want to burn them all down. I
Yeah,
want to burn them all down.
You know
Burn
what?
them all
Just
down.
keep Game Pass flowing, baby.
Yeah, I'm just gonna keep paying for Access Civilization 6 and I'll be fine, right? I just you know me, I'm easygoing.
Easygoing. There we go.
All right, folks.
Hour 20. Thank you so much. Like, subscribe, share. If you like the content that we are providing, please share with your friends. Say, hey, look, these two idiots go on every Wednesday and talk about stuff. And one guy really keeps giving DC and Warner Brothers money, even though he's an idiot. And
the other guy tries to warn him.
And the other guy tries to warn him. And the other guy, you should go watch it. It's hilarity. Hilarity ensues, baby.
Thanks for sticking around to the end rolls. Really appreciate
thanks so
it.
much.
Pandori.
Thanks so much, everyone.
Everyone that jumped on, thank you so much.
Go follow us on Twitter, which is right there. It's the dumpster fire that is Twitter.
Live picture of Twitter.
We do have a Discord that I will hop on and fix because there are people that actually care about it. It's so nice. It's so nice. But again, go follow or join our Discord there and like,
tag us, because if you tag me, I will most likely reply.
Yeah, at cautious and he will reply. But again, thank you so much. See you next Wednesday. Another episode in the can.
Be kind.